Yes. I'm looking there, right?
Yep,
Hi everybody.
right
Welcome to Quilt Market. My name is Gudrun from GA Designs and I'm here to show you my new Stripology mini ruler. So this is the third in the series, and if you have the other ones, I'm sure you're going to want this one. So the Stripology squared, this is kind of the little sister of the Stripology squared. The big one, you can square up any size block up to 12.5 inches. And then now you have a smaller size that can square up anything up to 6.5 inches. We also added a bunch of cool features to it because it's kind of designed to work with smaller pieces. So if you like using the Stripology rulers for your strips and squares and everything, and you're working with smaller stuff, smaller blocks, or anything like the Lori Holt patterns, those of the Hartman, where you're cutting these little different size pieces, this one is great. So we added there's a 1/8 inch line to the left of the 0, so you can cut anything in eighth inch, and then a 3/8 inch line as well. And then it has a turnaround feature to do your 1/4 inch. So that's all marked on here. You don't need to do the math anymore. The slits are still 1/2 inch apart, and for the squaring up feature, you just use the black squares for whole inch sizes and then the white squares for 1/2 inch sizes. And so just to show you quickly how to square up a block, let's say I'm squaring this down to a 4 inch. I just find my 4 inch square, and then I just center that right on the block, and I have diagonal lines going through each square, so I can really fast kind of just line those up with my seams, and then I make my cuts through the slits accordingly. I have them marked with my ruler stickers here. So I would cut through the 0 and the 4, and then just turn my block and repeat. A couple other features. I love working with charm squares, so I designed a bunch of patterns to use charm squares to go with it. But one of the things I do a lot, for example, when I'm making half square triangles or 1/4 square triangles, I layer my 2 squares together, and just to eliminate the step of drawing and sewing on each side, I cut them apart and sew them that way. So I added lines extending out to the edge of the ruler is specifically for that. So if I'm right-handed, I want to use the right side of it, so I just line that square up with those 2 lines, and that will line this slit up so I can cut them apart, and the ruler will keep everything in place. And same thing if you're left-handed, you have it on the other side as well, so you can use your left hand more easily. So I cut them apart, sew them back together, and then I can just square it up to whatever size.
Excellent. Lots of people are saying they love your rulers and they don't have this one yet, so they're excited.
Awesome. Yeah, so I did some fun stuff with it. If you know my other rulers and my other patterns, I have patterns called really fun female strong names. So they use 10-inch squares. So for this one, I rewrote many of them to use 5-inch squares. So we have Lil Katie, Lil Stella, Lil Nellie, and Lil Kira. So we call it the Lils, and they're all little table runners. So for example, here's Lil Nellie using charm pack and then a background. Really, really fun, really easy. Of course, you're not doing any folded corners with this one. You just do half square triangles and chop them up. And then we have Lil Katie, which is just charm squares. I think this actually is just about 1 pack. So if you have some laying around, this one goes together really fast and it's fun to do. And then we have Lil Kira. Kira pattern has been really, really popular in the bigger size, so it's just even more fun to make them small. They're just so cute when they're small. And then we have Lil Stella, and she's a new girl on the block. So there's usually 5-inch squares, just lights and darks to create the stars. And her big sister is actually in my new book. So I have a brand new book as well, Stripology Mixology. I've done books with 10-inch squares, I've done books with 2.5-inch strips and 1.5-inch strips. So in this one, I'm including all the different pre-cut sizes. So there's quilts for 5-inch squares, 10-inch squares, 2.5-inch strips, and 1.5-inch strips. And I even kind of have a chapter on how you can cut your own. If you want an accurate pre-cut, best way, just use your Stripology rulers to cut your own. So I have a whole chapter on that, how I do that. And then there's 13 projects in here using all those different sizes. But since the book was going to be called Mixology, and one of my hobbies is making cocktails, there's also 13 cocktail recipes in here. Very yummy. So that's just to reward yourself. Once you're done with the quilt, you can make a delicious cocktail. I have a couple of quilts if you want to see them.
Yes, we do.
I don't have a whole lot of space here. Penny's gonna help me out.
Excellent.
So this one is on the cover. This one uses 2.5-inch strips. Anyway, so it's called Rocky Road. And all the quilts in the book are written for multiple sizes, so you can make it anywhere from a crib to a king size. There's always those people that always make king size quilts. Are you one of those?
I am not. I feel like a lot of people are.
Yes, yeah. And then this one has been very popular too. This is Trippy Forest, so this one uses 1.5-inch strips. And you can make it Christmas, but you can also just make it for a woodsy theme up north or whatever you want. So really a fun one to do as well.
Excellent. Yeah.
Do you have any questions for me?
I don't think so. People are like, I love that pattern. I just bought it. Can't wait to make it.
Great.
Yeah, excellent. And do you want to point out your little,
So here's the little, everything that's new. We actually have one more new thing, which is on this table runner right here. This is also using the ruler and a charm pack, and then you just need one accent fabric. This one's called Clara. But these are all the new products, and I'm excited. People are excited. Really just holding it, it's so cute. Just goes with me everywhere.
All right. And I believe Emma Jolly, Kimberly's daughter, was watching, and she says hi.
Hi, Emma.
All right.
Keep being awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.